Juan Carl T., son of Mr. and Mrs. Rogelio Aguya. Arriaga Levy Yeshua, with honors, son of Miss Marie Zarina C. Arriaga. Basto BJC, son of Mr. and Mrs. Rodolfo Basto Jr. Cacabilos Benji C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Orlando B. Cacabilos. Cancino Vince Luther L., with honors, son of Mr. and Mrs. Emilio C. Cancino II. De Guzman Rich Wilbert S., with honors, Best in Music, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jesus De Guzman. De Vera Randy M., with honors, son of Mr. and Mrs. Greg D. De Vera. De La Roca Ian Carlo B., son of Mr. and Mrs. Neil Brian De La Roca. De Los Santos Rod M., son of Mr. and Mrs. Rodrigo C. De Los Santos. Ferrer Vincent James F., son of Mr. and Mrs. Victor C. Ferrer. Frias Denjo J., son of Mr. and Mrs. Alfredo Frias. Frias Joseph M., son of Mr. and Mrs. Alan M. Frias. Frias Russell Y., son of Mr. and Mrs. Alex Frias. Hernandez Justin B., son of Mr. and Mrs. Loreto Hernandez. Hernandez Kyle Philip V., son of Mr. and Mrs. Jojo Hernandez. Lavarias Mark Kian C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Mark Joseph Lavarias. Lavarias Rian G., son of Mr. and Mrs. Ricardo Lavarias. Lavarias Giancarlo P., son of Mr. and Mrs. Dennis P. Lavarias. Maligdong Ferdinand Jr. C., with high honors, Best in English, Best in Math, Best in Science, Best in Art, Athlete of the Year, son of Mr. and Mrs. Ferdinand R. Maligdong Sr. Maligdong Roel Joseph R., with honors, son of Miss Raquel Maligdong. Miguel Howard Floyd A., with honors, son of Mr. and Mrs. Ronaldo C. Miguel. Montemayor John Nathaniel M., with honors, son of Mr. and Mrs. Noel Montemayor. Uy John Emil M., with honors, son of Miss Janet R. Maligdong. Alvarida Jeracel Mar C., with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Almario F. Alvarida. Cacabilos Marinel C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Orlando D. Cacabilos. Kayabyab Pen Elise M., with honors, Best in Aralin Panlipunan, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Renato F. Kayabyab. De Los Santos Mary Grace C., with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Leonardo de Los Santos. Fernandez Maylin S., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Felipe Fernandez. Flores Rica Joy R., with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Fiji J. Flores. Hermono Natalia Shane C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Joel D. Hermono. Hernandez Neriza Doreen C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Larry M. Hernandez. Hernandez, Princess Sheena D. With honors, death in EPP, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bernardo Hernandez. Malikdom Daniela Lu M. With honors, daughter of Kagawad and Mrs. Daniel Malikdom. Malikdom Kareth Megan N. With honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Christopher Malikdom. Medilo Diane Ray F. With honors, Leadership Award, Best in ESP, Best in Filipino, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rinaldo A. Medilo. Meneses Gabriela F., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Gerardo Meneses. Quinto, Micaela T., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Michael H. Quinto. Rebenito Paula A., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Alfie Rebenito. Season Marian J., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Oscar Season. Suarez Carla May D. With honors, daughter of Mr. Jose Suarez.